Welcome back, mother lovers, to a brand new episode of Last Call at McLaren's. I am your host, Josh, joined by my fellow mother lover, John. How you doing, man?
Dude, I'm doing good. I'm doing okay. You?
Yeah, man. Brand new episode of How I Met Your Father. You know, what more could I ask for? I'm sure I could ask for more, but that's true. I could ask for more.
A hot sub?
I would like a... wait. What kind of sub? Is it a sub or a sandwich?
It would be a sub, and knowing you, it would be a chicken parm with extra cheese.
That's true. But what I was getting at is like, is it a sub or is it a sandwich? Wink, wink. You know.
The
funny thing is, I don't think they would ever have to use that euphemism on here because they can get away with whatever they want, pretty much.
Pretty much. And weed's also legal in New York State now too.
That's true. That's very true. I think it would have been funny, but yeah, I don't think we're ever gonna see that. Anyways, folks, how y'all doing? We're here.
Hopefully you're doing well.
I hope so. We're here for season 1, episode 4 of How I Met Your Father, Dirty 30.
Woo-woo.
That's right. Did you ever have a big bash for your 30th? I don't honestly remember.
I did not.
I don't think I did either. I was like, when I was like, why do I care that I'm turning 30? Whatever.
Well, it would have been 2010 we turned. No, it wouldn't have.
No, it would have been 2014. Yeah.
Holy Jesus, we're getting old.
Yes, we are. We just aged ourselves, folks. Totally just aged ourselves. So, yes, this episode aired February 1st of 2022.
Hell yeah. First episode of the new year.
That's right. Of the new month.
Or the new month. I knew what I meant.
This one was directed by Pamela Fryman. She popped back on to direct this episode. Written by Emily Gillette, I think is how you pronounce her name. She's also the co-executive producer on the show. And she also was on a couple seasons of the Fresh Off the Boat. I don't know if you ever watched that.
I did not.
Yeah, I saw a few episodes of it. It was pretty good. And she wrote a couple episodes of The Office, including the one where, I don't know if you remember, one where Todd Packard comes back to work in the office. And then I think it's Jim and Dwight, or it's either Jim and Dwight or Jim and Andy trick him into going to Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she wrote that episode
nice.
As well. So, all right. So the summary for Dirty 30 reads, Sophie discovers that hosting her 30th birthday party is almost as stressful as turning 30. Jesse and Ellen struggle to relate as siblings. Val and Charlie spice things up. And Sid shows off a new piece of bling. All right. So let's get into this, John. What'd you think of the episode?
Wasn't one of my favorite ones, but it was definitely decent.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I don't think it blew away anything. It didn't blow me away or anything, but I think it still held that. I feel like it still held the kind of tone that I want and kept the laughs going. It wasn't a bad episode by any means.
I think there was just a little too much going on in this one episode.
Yeah. I mean,
especially for me. Well, let's jump into the first part of the storyline that we can talk about then. It's Jesse and his sister, you know. She's blaming him for all this shit about when they were kids, and it's like that's something he didn't have control over. And at least he's
remember,
trying.
She was like 6 when this happened. So in her mind, she even explains it. To her, he was one of the adults, you know.
I mean, I get it.
And he left her in her mind. And so that always stayed with her. And because they didn't have any sort of reconciliation throughout the years, that thought always stayed with her.
No, I mean, I get it. I feel bad because he's trying so hard. And
he is. But
she was kind of a little bit of a bitch in this episode.
You see it, though. You do see it multiple times that he doesn't really know her.
No.
You know, the name thing, the wine allergy, saying that she was on a dairy farm. And even I was like, no. As soon as I heard that, I was like, no, she was from a vegetable farm. Like, that's what her and her wife had. And so, like, I've only watched 4 episodes of this show, and
True.
I knew that, and this is his sister, so it's like, I get it. I get why she is not happy about it, you know? And childhood shit lingers, man. Like, it really does. It sticks around and creeps up on you when you least expect it.
No, I mean, I get that.
Yeah, so I want to start off at the beginning a little bit. Hilary Duff, man, she looks smoking hot in that blue dress at the beginning.
Absolutely.
Like, I gotta say it because she essentially says it in the episode, and I'm like, I agree with you. Because
I love how she's like, this dress is Nip Slip City, but it is, and I'm like, fingers crossed.
Dude, that dress, I think that should have been her fancy party dress, because that pink dress, it was okay, but like, I didn't like the shoulder. It looked like a prom dress.
I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be like a representation of 16 Candles.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I've never seen the movie. I'll say that, but I do know that there is like a big poofy pink dress in it. So I guess I could see that, but I don't know. I was like, not a big fan of the dress, the second one, but
happens.
Yeah, Christina Aguilera based party though. Dirty. That's where the dirty comes from. The dirty and dirty 30. I like it. I thought that was clever. Thought that was pretty clever. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, the whole thing with Jesse and Ellen. I like that they kind of sprinkled it throughout the episode.
Yes.
They let it build as we're seeing, he gets something wrong and she doesn't really react to, she's just like, she doesn't react very badly at first, because she's just kind of letting things go. And then it just keeps happening again and keeps happening again. But with their storyline, we get something that I was thrilled and was like literally jumped out of my seat. Was like, yes. And that's when Jesse did the have you met
yes.
Have you met? Oh, he didn't say have you met, but he's just like, have you met Ellen? And I'm just like, they did. They gave us a have you met?
They did it. I mean, it was the same when the taxi pulled up. I thought that was going to be
I thought it was going to be Ranjit.
Yeah.
I was really hoping.
Although by that time he was already driving the limo, so it wouldn't have made sense.
Well, I mean, it's been years since we have seen him. Like, it's the end of How I Met Your Mother. And so, who knows what he could have been? He could have gone back to driving a cab. Maybe he owns a cab company. He likes to go out and drive it once in a while. I don't know.
Well, no, because at the end of How I Met Your Mother, they tell us that he owns the limo company now.
Yeah, he could have bought a cab company too. We don't know.
Maybe.
It's been 8 years, 9 years. 9 years since the wedding.
True.
So, I mean, who knows what he's been doing in all of that time. So, so we also have this storyline going on between Valentina and Charlie. I didn't like how Valentina was in this because over the last 3 episodes, she has not acted like this at all.
No.
You know what I mean? There has been no inkling that they're in this open relationship that she seems to want to have. You know what I mean? And it makes me wonder if it's just like him deciding to ask about a label, put her on the spot, and that was just her instant reaction.
I can see that.
The whole thing, it's like it felt like she didn't really necessarily feel that way. It was just her reaction to it. And so, yeah, I didn't like how she started off. I like that they kind of progressed through because, like, you could tell it hurt Charlie's feelings. He really wants to be with her.
I love how he proceeds to just be like, well, if this is how you're going to be, I can play this game. I'm going to go hit on all these people at the party.
Yeah.
I'm like, go Charlie.
Yeah. And then it kind of almost backfires, but doesn't because in the end it works out. But it like starts to turn her on and stuff, and then it becomes this whole thing. And it got me thinking. I was like, I could totally see Lily and Marshall doing this stuff. You know what I mean?
True.
Yeah, I could totally see them doing that. Maybe not to the extreme, but like I could see them kind of getting hot and bothered doing this kind of thing.
I mean, they kind of do in season 2 anyway, when like they're still on the breakup and the calves and the tanning and. That's
true. That is definitely true.
That they have their quirks.
Yes, they absolutely do. But yeah, they wind up kind of making up in the end and everything, which
Having sex in a shower.
having sex in a shower with no water running.
Oh, that's a good point.
Because Sophie and Drew go in there, and if the water was running, they would have noticed that.
That's a true statement. I didn't think about that.
They were just in the shower finding a place to do it. That's literally
that is totally a Marshall and Lily thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, her and Charlie, they did that in the first episode. I think it was the first or second episode, whichever one it was. Because they blur together right now because we watched them back to back because they both aired. But they did that. They went into like the back room of the bar at the end of the episode. So yeah, I could totally see them being that kind of couple all the time.
Which, speaking of the bar, I was really shocked that Sid only had a very minute part in this episode.
I mean, he had his own little storyline, the whole thing with the engagement ring and everything. He working the as the mixologist at the party and everything like that. And dude, he had some funny stuff at the beginning of this episode.
He did. I love the trademark game.
It reminded me of Lawyered.
Huh.
It's like their own version of that. And I hope it comes back. Like how Lawyered would randomly come back throughout the series. I want to hear Trademark come back. And also when he drops the keg down the stairs and kills the cat.
I love the outdated I Know What You Did Last Summer reference.
Yes.
Because, I mean, it's 2022 in their universe.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, that movie came out in the early 90s.
Interesting fact, though. They just last year, I think it was, came out with a television series on Amazon.
No.
On Prime Video. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, there's an I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Why can't they just leave the classics alone?
I mean, I've heard it's decent. I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard it's decent.
I mean, I can get a good look at a T-bone steak by sticking my head up a bull's ass, but I'd rather take my butcher's word for it.
I mean, sure. I mean, if you can take the butcher's word for it, go for it. I'm telling you what the butcher said.
Fair enough.
The butcher said it was decent.
That's a spicy meatball.
That is a spicy meatball. And then we get some good stuff with Sophie and Drew.
Yeah.
They go out on this date, and we find out he's a very put together, kind of fancy kind of guy. They go to this fancy restaurant. He's ordering bottles of wine. I half expected him to be like, "Can I get a plate of mozzarella?"
So the funny thing is, though, is like everybody's like super. Oh, he's so put together. He ordered a 2016 bottle of wine. That's not a very.
I mean, maybe that kind of wine. It's fine. I don't know anything about wine. Man.
It probably is because I mean, it depends on where what kind of wine it is and stuff. But I'm just saying, it's not a very old bottle of wine.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know a lot about wine, but I'm sure that they don't always have to be old. I don't know.
Just saying.
I'm also just saying.
Just
I don't know how
more.
much. I mean, I don't think you're really a wine connoisseur.
How dare you?
I don't ever see you sitting down and drinking a glass of wine, John.
I worked in a liquor store.
And I don't see you just drinking wine. No.
That is true.
Just saying, man. Just saying.
This coming from the Loganberry wine drinker. I literally said I don't know a lot about wine. The stuff with Sophie and Drew, I liked kind of his reaction to everything that's going on. He never once got mad or frustrated with anything that was happening. I mean, dude burns his hand on a pipe. He's sweating through his clothes and shit. He doesn't know what's going on half the time. And yet he's just a cool, calm, collected, nice He's
individual.
a very cool dude. I will give him that.
I
love his reaction to the book nook.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you've got some very interesting books here. You've really highlighted this one. She's like, yeah, it means a lot to me. It's Vanna White's autobiography.
Yeah, autobiography of Vanna White. The joys of gay sex. I love how Val is just like, this is a great read. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
That was good.
Which means she's obviously read it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she's the one who picked out all the books. So
that is true. I love how they went thrifting for books.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to get, a few dozen books.
Oh, yeah. and cheap. Hey, man,
but I mean, you think
that's
you
where
would
you
have
go.
at least looked over the selection you bought?
Well, she did tell. She's like, I thought you screened these books. And she's like, I did, which means that she saw that book. It was like, that's a good choice. Yeah, I'm going with that.
Fair.
Like, Valentina thought this was a great choice for the book.
I will say, so far, it's starting to pull that, like, I'm really liking Val's character a lot more. Except for all the shit she pulls in this episode, but, like...
Yeah, I think that's going to be done, because, like, the way she essentially kind of commits herself at the end, I think is going to lead us to liking her character more.
I think so.
Yeah. And, okay, so back to Sophie and Drew, we get the roof. Finally.
Yeah, but it's not the roof of the normal apartment. It's not.
Oh, that's true. I didn't think about that.
You're
right. It's not the apartment, so it's not the. Oh, we got a roof though. Okay, yeah. So that makes my whole theory better then, because I was like, man, they're never gonna have parties on the roof because there's bees up there. But I was like, well, yeah, you're right. It's not the same roof because it's the other apartment.
Yeah, because they were at Val's and Sophie's, not Jesse's.
You're right. I do like the bees though. It's kind of it gave me that, the whole bees.
There was that reminiscent of the bees. Mm-hmm. They're territorial, like
yeah, man. The whole beekeeper, the Gouda episode, a fancy party with bees.
So the thing that gets me is they go up there. They could have just put like a wall up or something to have kept people away from the bees and still had that party up there.
Yeah, probably. But if the bees at all got out, they could fly over the wall.
That is true.
Yeah. I don't know.
But it's nighttime. Bees are dormant at night.
That's true. But I mean, drunk people, who knows what would happen,
true.
Man.
That is true.
Some random person crashes through the freaking box of bees.
Dude, that would suck.
Oh, that would be.
It would be a keg rolling down the steps all over again.
Every time I watched it, man, that keg roll it made me laugh every single time.
Dude, you heard it too. It was like thud, thud, thud.
It's like, oh shit. We're gonna take this to the grave. I know what you did last summer style.
Yeah. Dude, that's gonna be a new running joke for us. I feel it.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I want to ask you a question. Would you or would you not bob for apples in a bucket full of tequila?
You know what? When I saw them doing that, I was like, why have we never done that before?
I mean, I feel like I know you can get cheap tequila, but that's a lot of tequila in that bucket.
I mean, it is, but then you just drink it afterwards.
I mean, I don't know, man. Everybody's face getting all up in there. I don't know,
come
man.
On. You've never drank a drink that's had somebody's fingers or something all up in it?
I mean, not.
Are you Mr. Sophisticated over here?
Not consciously. I'm not like, oh, you had your finger in that? I'm going to drink it now.
Think about this.
I'm sure it's happened, but... Yeah, but I don't drink the beer because you know me. I don't drink beer.
True.
I would always drink my own drink.
That is true.
Doing that, like we would typically play with water in the cups, and then
you would play with water.
Yeah, and then we'd drink our own stuff that way. But yeah, like I don't know.
Although, didn't you do vodka lemonade in your cups?
Oh yeah, you know what? You're right. I think, but I rinsed the ball off each time.
Somebody's hands were still on it before it went in the drink.
Fine, you got me on that one, I guess.
Oh, lawyered. I'm going to trademark something. I don't know what, but I'm going to do it. Let's see. What else was there? Wasn't like a ton, in this episode because it was very centralized. It was, but it was also very substantial.
Yeah, but it's like we were in this party for the majority of the episode. I liked the stuff with Sid. He's real proud of this ring, right? But you find out in just kind of like an offhanded comment, he says that his fiance does not like it, which means he bought it for himself.
He says he bought it for himself.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, there's a line where somebody was like, "Oh, so she bought this for him?" And he's like, "No, not exactly."
Oh, okay. See, I didn't catch that, but yeah, I'm like, he bought this for himself. Okay, and then it explains like the type of ring that it is, because it's a pewter ring with dinosaur bone inlay, and I'm just like, he totally bought this thing himself.
Oh yeah,
because like that's something I would buy. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's the type of thing like the dude's gonna buy for himself, and the girl's definitely not gonna pick that out. Which I thought was pretty fun. But he's real.
Fair.
That's one of the things I really like about Sid. Like he's a nice, honest guy. He's like Marshall. It's one of the things I loved about Marshall. Just how kind of genuine.
How genuine yet comfortable he is with himself.
Yeah. And that's one of the big things I loved about it. And I want to also talk about. So you have said this. You brought up this theory about Jasper, about how he's just a placeholder. Okay.
Yep.
And I think this episode makes it even stronger of proof to your theory, because he's in one scene, doesn't have any dialogue.
No dialogue.
And I'm just like, what is his fucking point? But then it goes back to exactly what you said. I think it was last episode, because I was complaining about him. And I'm just like, there is no purpose to this character at all.
No. And well, there's one other thing I noticed too that kind of goes back to a theory from How I Met Your Mother. I don't know if you caught this. Sophie and Drew are having their moment, and he's like, oh, you can signal a taxi like this, and no taxi shows up. But the moment that they're having that shared moment, yellow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, there it is.
Yeah, I like that. That's okay. I'm interested to see if the color palette, if that color theory holds throughout this show too.
We'll have to see.
Yeah.
I mean, we've only got 6 episodes left in the first season, so
That's true. Because I think that is an interesting take, that with them having the moment and then the taxi pulls up and it's yellow and everything. Yeah.
I mean, I always keep my eyes open for small shit like that, because it's always somewhere.
Yeah.
I always keep my eyes open for yellow and purple to see if like there's a moment of something where like you're gonna catch something. So
yeah. I thought this was a pretty decent episode. What was I was gonna say something. It was back on the Jasper thing. It got me thinking. It's like your whole theory. I was thinking about what you had said, and I was like, okay, well, what could they actually do with it? And then I remembered Charlie does not have a job.
No.
Like, I know that he came from money. He doesn't have that money anymore, but he has stuff to sell, apparently. That's going to run out eventually. Like you had suggested, I think it's good. I think it will be Charlie.
Like I said, I figured it would either be him or Ellen. And,
Yeah. I mean, I think it could be Ellen. I think it would be way more interesting and funny if it's Charlie.
Either way, it'll be
Charlie and Sid, they have like a camaraderie with one another. And I just think Charlie bartending could be hilarious.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I really think that's where it's going to go. I don't know if it'll happen by the end of the season or not, but I have a feeling that's kind of like, I don't know if they're planning it to do it that way at all, or if like you've said, he's just a placeholder for somebody. But I want it to be Charlie, to be honest.
I think that would be pretty cool. I would be okay with that.
Yeah. Let's see, and then we had what else do we have? We got the whole thing with the Metro card at the end.
Yeah,
which I thought was a nice kind of way to kind of tie in some stuff that they talked about at the beginning of the episode, and really kind of wrap up the Jesse Ellen storyline as well. So, I thought that was nice. Apparently, Valentina, I wrote this note down because I thought this was funny, has gone home with Jeff Goldblum and his wife.
Yes, I thought that was a funny...
Because she says again. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right. You go, Valentina.
But I'm wondering if that was like a mental thing. Like maybe she was like, I don't know.
I mean, she legitimately was, unless she was lying, you know what I mean? But I mean, we don't have a reason to think that she is lying. I buy that she somehow got her way there. I don't know.
Fair enough.
I don't know. But did you have any other comments, any other stuff you want to talk about in this episode? I think we covered pretty much. I mean, this was kind of a quick one, but we did cover. I think we covered everything.
I think so.
This episode. So
I mean, like you said, it was very centralized.
But I think think that's good. You got any last thoughts about Dirty 30?
Not really. Just excited to see where it's going to go for the next 6 episodes.
Yeah. It makes me wonder if they're leaning too heavy on the idea that Drew could be the father, because like
the psycho.
They're rolling heavy into this relationship.
Yeah, they are.
And so like obviously it could go either way, but like it seems like it's got to be between three people, like
Drew and Sid.
Jesse, Drew, and Ian.
Oh yeah.
I feel like Ian. He could come back. Because like they set him up at the beginning.
True.
And so like there is zero like inclination that it could be Charlie or Sid right now.
I wonder if Ian's going to show up in the season finale.
I think that'd be cool. Kind of shake things up between her and Drew a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they don't do the whole breakup thing because that's what they did in How I Met Your Mother.
Yep.
Like the main couple breaks up at the end of the first season. It's like, let's not do that. If they're going to break up, do it before the finale, so that it's not exactly the same. Otherwise, let them kind of do their thing.
Let them eat cake.
Let them eat cake. Sure. Eat all the cake. But I think that's all I got, John. If you ain't got anything left, then let everybody know where they can find you.
Well, you can always find me over here. It's Simply Saying J1 on Twitter. It's the corresponding Twitter with my podcast, Simply Saying with Jay. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Hotmail. I mean, you can find me in a lot of different places if you really, really want to.
You're really aging yourself with the Hotmail.
I mean, it happens.
Though the last call email is a Hotmail.
Oh, man.
It was just easier for me to set it up that way. Sorry, people. I only use it so that I could get the podcast uploaded. That was all. But you guys can find me on Twitter at JP Raynor. That's JPRAYNOR. As well as right down here at Movie Blog Merc. That's the Twitter page for my site, Merc with Movie Blog. If you're watching this on YouTube and you like what you see, make sure to hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and click that little bell so you get notified every time we drop a brand new video. If you're listening on podcast form, please make sure to, first off, share it. Get it out to as many people as you can. And leave us a review, a nice 5-star review, and we will read that out on air. If as long as it's nothing too raunchy, we still might.
We still would.
We still probably would. And if you would like to use your speaking voice to express your feelings, you can head on over to anchor.fm/lastcall HIMYM and leave us a voice message right there that we will play on air. That's pretty cool. We've had somebody do that before. It was quite awesome. I liked getting that. So please do. And be sure to follow us on Twitter at Last Call HIMYM. And I think that's it, guys. John, what do you got for him?
Listen, you don't have to go home, but you can't listen here.
All right. Catch you next time.